There we are. Welcome, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are live right now. Welcome. This is Veteran Nation Live. This is the show that me and TC normally do. And I know you're thinking, but it's not a Tuesday. We're
We're
moving it.
We're not
What's
doing
that?
we're not doing Tuesday nights anymore.
Yeah, it's life is happening, so we're gonna do it on Sundays, I believe.
That works for me, yeah. Yeah, no more late night live shows for TC. TC goes to bed now between 8 and 8:30 and gets up at well, right now it's before the butt crack of dawn. What do you call that? Like the taint of dawn?
Taint. Uh,
I
that's
am up at I am up at the taint of dawn.
Oh, we got people in from your channel. Minnesota Black Robe Regiment is TC's channel, and a Veterans Affairs Media is our guest, Kahanus. Welcome, Kahanus.
Hello.
No,
Thank you for
don't.
having me, gentlemen.
Don't do the weird voice. It's bad enough you're an islander.
So rude. I'm gonna quit
I
the
try.
show now.
I've always wondered, is there like rivalry between the islands? Like people are like, you're an Oahuian. F you.
I'm pretty sure I haven't been there since I was a child.
That always makes me wonder.
Oh, hello, everyone. Hi, Linda.
Yeah, let's see who we got in here. Got Aussie, Just Jen, Gail.
We've got all your groupies.
Hey, what's up? Native Pride, Iron Rabbit. That's a pretty cool name, Iron Rabbit.
It sounds like a boss you have to beat in a kung fu game.
It's the most dangerous thing I've ever seen. What, behind the rabbit? No, it is the rabbit.
All right. Well, it's got fangs.
I do have some stories here, guys. Let me pull up my thing here, and
let's before you. For those of you that know or don't know, this Skipper and I have been doing this for
almost 3 years now.
Almost 3 years, and we had a show producer. He's out there somewhere. Juan, he's out there somewhere. But Juan is going through life things on his own, and he at least temporarily, as far as we know, we don't know where his plans are, but he shut down his network, and so we're not hosting through him obviously anymore. And then life just kind of got in the way, and the show started out where we were talking about veterans issues and active duty military issues, and what we want to do is we want to get back to that on a regular basis. We want to still, Skipper does all his stuff during the week, his coffees with Skipper and his cocktails. I don't need Skipper for cocktails, by the way. I no problem with my own cocktails, but
I like the Veterans Lounge.
Skipper makes some very weird things, but just in keeping with Skipper's personality. But oh, he's switching us around. So
I'm just adding in some of our stuff.
So we're gonna be doing this again. We're going to really be pushing to talk more about veterans issues. We're going to be pushing more on a regular basis, at least 2 to 3 times a month, if not every Sunday, to that Skipper's available or doesn't have something going on,
We
to really
also
be
want to
pushing
do
on these things. So
we also want to do at least once a month an all veterans stream where we
Round
try to raise money for a good cause.
So, and then sometimes what happens when we're talking about these veterans issues is then we talk about active duty things that are going on. And then Skipper will bring up these active duty things that are going on. And then that normally triggers me. And I go off on what's known as a TC rant. So you guys just need to be prepared. I am the straight man to Skipper's comedy. Yes, TC rants. Yes. I am the straight man to Skipper's comedy, so I'm actually the one that makes things funny. So
Good comedy always comes with the straight man. I will say that.
so-
And you are a very good straight man.
and occasionally we will put up pictures of Skipper comparing him side by side to Gru. So
Oh man.
Oh,
you
that
can't,
should be
now
an
once you see it, you can't not see it.
that should be an overlay. Like I should have like how okay. So I've got overlays like we have the Blue Falcon. Okay. I should do a Gru overlay.
Yeah, do it. Good morning, everybody in chat.
Emotional damage.
And we will be staging an infiltration to take the soundboard away from him. So okay, Skipper, you said you had stories. So
Well, now you're breaking my heart. All right. So, yes, I do have stories. This first one, Army veteran sentenced to probation for milestone conviction. So I'll just go ahead and start reading it. A U.S. Army veteran was sentenced on Friday to probation instead of prison for his milestone conviction in his leadership role in a violent plot by members of the far-right Oath Keepers extremist group to keep Donald Trump in the White House after he won the 2020 presidential election. Joshua James was the first person charged in the U.S. Capitol riot to plead guilty to seditious conspiracy, the most serious crime arising from January 6, 2021, attack by a mob of Trump supporters. James cooperated with the Justice Department's investigation, but didn't testify at any of the trials for other Oath Keeper members, including anti-government group's founder and top leader, Stuart Rhodes. James was the ninth and final Oath Keepers defendant to be sentenced after cooperating with prosecutors. James, 37, of Arab, Alabama, expressed remorse before the U.S. District Judge Amit Mehta sentenced him to 3 years probation, including 6 months in a residential re-entry center and 6 months of home detention. He said he knows that his actions put police officers in danger on January 6th. That's not who I am, he said. I hate people in danger. I'm looking here to see if there's any other facts. But if you guys want to discuss this case, go right ahead.
First of all, who writes the label far right anti-government extremist group? And then how are we defining a far right anti-government extremist group?
Here's the thing. The gentleman they were talking about, Rhodes, if I remember correctly, he wasn't even there. But this guy was. James was a regional leader for the Oath Keepers in Alabama, was in direct contact with Rhodes before the January 6th riot. James and other Oath Keepers stored firearms in hotels on the outskirts of Washington, D.C. for a quick reaction force to possibly use, but they never deployed the guns. As they approached the Capitol on January 6th, James and other Oath Keepers marched in a military-style stack formation. He helped lead other group members into the building in the East Rotunda doors inside the Capitol. James approached a police officer, grabbed his vest, pulled him towards the mob as he yelled, "Get out of my Capitol." As police pushed James out of the building, he reunited with Rhodes.
No lies detected, by the way.
He reunited with Rhodes and other Oath Keepers. 2 days later, James met Rhodes in a restaurant in Alabama. and that's all the facts that they give about this, other than he's a welder.
I just don't like.
Well, you should be glad he's not in prison.
That's
Well, yeah, he should be, but the reason he's not is because he cooperated, and which means
sounds like
even
he was
though
the
he
most
didn't
violent
testify
one.
in anybody else's, trial, what it means is he went snitch.
And it sounds like he was the most violent one. If he was the ringleader, I have to wonder, was he one of the FBI's plants?
Yeah, and that's now like
Oh,
we've known for a long time that the FBI and the Capitol Police had ringers in place
Mhm.
that were there intentionally inciting people. Like we've got video evidence of it. And now this last week they admitted that they had confidential informants and other agitprops in place to provoke what they got.
Mhm.
well, I follow. I'm tracking on that. All right.
So
So he had all those guns stacked up at, I'm assuming, the local hotels around there.
I mean, yeah,
I
that's
haven't read the article.
they apparently brought guns to their hotel rooms, but never took them along. So
someone's muted.
no, I think Gail said that we were really quiet, and somebody's trying to help her figure out.
There, I turned everyone up just in case.
So I'm to be quite honest with you, we have literally spent more time. We've spent 4 years now basically investigating every single person that was in Washington D.C. on that day in January 2021. And we have hunted down some of the worst American-made terrorists in the history of this country, and found a little old 72-year-old grandmother who had cancer and have thrown her in jail over walking into the building hours after everything started and settled down.
Mhm.
I just now at this point, I don't believe any accusation that's made against anyone about January 6th. I don't believe a single accusation. And I deny that it was the people on the outside of the building that were there in support of Trump that started this. I deny that. I just deny that they started it.
Mhm.
And that they're responsible. And now we know that Trump actually ordered the military to be in place, and others stepped outside of him and ordered the military to stand down, and the military went along with it. Now, it's National Guard, so it's a little bit different from active. We can say what we want about using military troops in a law enforcement type capacity, but we can't even get to the root of what happened with Hunter Biden, his laptop, his gun, his cocaine in the White House. Oh, and Burisma in Ukraine. We can't get to that. That's been going on for damn near 15 years.
Yep. That goes back to the Obama administration.
Yeah, we can't get to the root of that. But God damn it, we can throw people in prison, and we can give them probation for being in the people's property. I don't know. I'm done talking about this with people. I'm done with them painting anybody who says wasn't that bad as being some sort of radical. and it's not something I would do, but boy, I just don't see that the Oath Keepers is a far right anti-government extremist group.
Especially it's in their name. Keep the oath. Thank you so much, Fly on the Wall, for the $5. We really do appreciate it. This one, this one, I tweeted about, and I tweeted the Archer thing, because it's Archer for the fans of the show is like, no, it's a call girl or an escort and whatnot until they're dead, and then they're a hooker. So I was having some fun with this story, but an active duty Marine assigned to Naval Air Station Pensacola was arrested Wednesday and is being considered a primary suspect in the alleged murder of an escort. Willie Ellington, 20, was taken into custody December 18th by the Escambia County Sheriff's Office on charges of first-degree premeditated murder, possession of child pornography, after ECSO deputies, assisted by the police officers from Mobile, Alabama, located the deceased remains of Shay Bennett in a pond on a Mobile neighborhood. Investigators said Bennett, who was first reported as missing on December 14th, met Ellington at the Sweet Dreams Inn in Northwest Florida shortly before her disappearance. Shortly after locating Bennett's remains, the investigating team found and arrested Ellington in Opelika, Alabama. Due to the suspicious circumstances surrounding his disappearance, investigators have been working the case as a potential homicide. So
Potentially a homicide.
yes, I don't believe we have an autopsy yet.
Well,
So
that's interesting.
She must not have brought the crayons along.
Oh,
Well, it happened December 14th, so it wasn't a payday. So he probably was just trying to get out of paying her.
I was gonna say that, but I wasn't sure if that was okay. Probably tried to run out.
I always say what I'm thinking, which gets me in trouble.
And Gail points out, what a name, Sweet Dreams. And in a different life, when I was a deputy, we had you might be able to find him, pictures of the guy. I had to supervise a detainee that was accused of strangling young women to death in a erotic asphyxiation game, and his MO was, it was an accident, but then he hid their bodies in suitcases in the trunk of his car, and one was over in La Crosse, Wisconsin, and then the other one was in Rochester, actually, in Olmsted County. And he got caught ultimately because he was using Febreze to try and cover up the odor of the seeping remains in the trunk of his car and in the pool of liquefied putrescence that was running out of his trunk and collecting underneath his vehicle. And he was a former cop.
Don't these people realize that you got to watch Tiger King? Carol Baskin tells you exactly how to get rid of a body.
Carol.
That bitch, Carol Baskin.
Yes, asphyxiation erotica, Gail. Yes, it's a thing.
Isn't the guy that was in Legend of Kung Fu or something like that died like that?
David Carradine. Yep.
Well, his was autoerotic asphyxiation.
So we'll go to the next story.
Guys out there, if you're ever with a girl and she says, choke me and call me baby girl, don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh, now you're going to get hate from Georgie.
Hey, Westside, what's up?
So this story is an opinion piece from USA Today. And this is just, to me, this is just a series of bad decisions. I've worked 2 jobs my entire life. As a teenager growing up in Alabama, I worked nights at a burger joint, weekends at the record shop. As an adult, I worked as an administrative assistant and a florist, not jobs that you'll make a ton of money in order to support myself, my kids after my husband's premature death. And now at age 60, I'm still working 2 jobs as a health administrator and a host at a local diner. Again, not 2 jobs you make a lot of money at. In order to pay my student debt, I took on student loans to get a job that will provide for my family in my older years, but the reverse has happened. I've taken money out of my retirement accounts to lower my student debt payments, which is completely stupid, which exceed my mortgage payments. I am far from alone. The number of adults 60 or over with student loan debt has grown 6-fold over the past 2 decades. The amount of debt they carry is multiplied nearly 20 times. And I'm looking here because when I became a widow in my 30s, I knew I would need a better paying job to provide for my family. I also wanted to set a good example for my 2 small children. Course by course, I worked my way through an associate's degree, bachelor's, and master's degree. To my pride, my children both decided to continue post-secondary education, but lacking savings or generational wealth, I took out Parent Plus loans as millions of people do every year to support their dreams. So there we have it.
And so now she wants
us to subsidize her bad decisions. These aren't
even grants or any government assistance like that anymore.
She took out loans for her kids. Like, why are you paying on that? Like, your kids can't make those payments?
She doesn't have generational wealth, but she'll have generational debt.
And taking money out of your retirement to fund your debt is a very bad decision. You're leaving yourself nothing for the future. You're better off at that point declaring bankruptcy, restructuring everything, and maintaining your future.
Well, she probably doesn't want to go through the embarrassment of having her name attached to a bankruptcy, as opposed to the embarrassment of having Papa Biden forgive it for her. What she should do is she should try and get her name in on all the clemencies that Biden has been issuing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've considered for members only of this channel doing a
clemency. I didn't know you had that kind of power.
No, doing like a financial thing where we discuss stocks. I was thinking about keeping it veterans only, but now I'm like, no, if people want to be a member and join, maybe we should talk about financial stuff. Because at least for veterans, it's nothing that they teach us.
Well, they don't teach that stuff at all to anybody anymore.
True. Very true.
It's like trying to find a civics or a government history class in a government center of indoctrination these days.
Well, like this, it's like, why would you take on your children's student loans? Like, and I'm sure, okay, they're probably, if they have post-secondary education, they should be working good jobs. She's not, so she's probably she doesn't say what her degrees are in, but it's probably some nonsense that no one wants to hire for, and isn't really applicable to any high-paying jobs. And you see that all the time. People with a master's degree in poetry, you're not going to get anywhere.
You literally don't need a master's degree in poetry, by the way. You just don't. There's no need. I write poetry, damn good poetry actually, and I do not have a master's degree in poetry. So,
new segment for the show, TC Poetry.
No, you don't want it on your channel.
You would lose viewers.
I just feel like
Are they haikus?
No, I do not. No, I do not like haikus. I'm a freak.
Roses are red. I sniff glue.
See,
I
I
feel
like
like
it.
we have West Side Accountability just sub to the channel because of AVA, and I just feel like now we have to go West Side.
Whoop whoop.
Nerd.
He's here because of you, so
You're welcome.
I wonder what he's west side of. Because some places being on the west side isn't always the best thing.
Dwayne Rapp thinks that the lady with the loan needs a sugar daddy. I mean, at her age, it'd probably be pretty hard to find somebody old enough for her to call daddy. So,
And here's the thing: like, would you want to be a partner who was someone this financially irresponsible and with a track record of bad decisions? Like,
really, that's
okay.
exactly what every bank says to me.
Well, I mean, okay, she's a widow. Is she saying that she didn't have any life insurance? And I'll just tell you right now, everyone out there, if you don't have life insurance, you should have life insurance. If you're a veteran, do not take the veterans VGLI. That's a ripoff. And I would always recommend as a secondary insurance, have one that's cash accumulation, a whole life policy, because those gain value, and you can, when you get 60 and now you don't need to carry, because you have your house paid off, so you have some savings and retirement. Those still accrue money.
Georgie's here, and she's happy to see you in AVA. She said two of her most favorite guys. So,
Thank you, everybody in the chat, for being here. We really appreciate it.
It's because you said that about autoerotic asphyxiation, TC. She was watching.
Oh,
She's like, I'm not going to like TC if he's going to kink shame me.
hey,
quick, give me my belt. I found somewhere to hang.
I don't. Actually, people need to stop going to college in general. They just do. It's such a waste of time and money, unless you're gonna do like
if you're gonna go into STEM.
Like Gail, I think it was Gail said that she's got a nursing degree. So that's, if you're gonna go into medicine, even there, be careful what kind of medicine you're going into too. But if you're gonna be a nurse, you're gonna be a doctor, maybe be a lawyer. We have an overabundance of overly educated people who have no skill at all in this country.
The other thing is they confuse education with intelligence. They think because they're educated, they're smart. And I've seen some very, very intelligent people with no education and some very stupid people with a lot of education.
It describes my entire experience with most of the officers I've ever dealt with, present company excluded. West Side is a female cop watcher. Interesting.
Ooh,
we don't see a lot of those.
Yeah, she gets out there and does work.
If we can get someone to drop a link to her channel, then
I would love to.
And,
I like when she says, "You wanted a protest, now you get a protest."
You know who I've been really following here lately?
Check out my channel. Ever stop by? I'd like to get to know her.
Who I've been watching a lot of lately in the accountability sphere is Susan Bassey.
She does really good work, and it's not just following cops. She's like actually doing accountability, where she's going into courtrooms and she's going into. Excuse me.
I reached out to her because she's here in California, as am I, and I'm like, hey, you need something for Southern California? You let me know. I'm down here.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people pick up my channel from other cop watching channels and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, I thought you were like an auditor or a cop watcher," and I'm like, "No, I do accountability." And they're like,
Mhm.
"You don't have any, you don't have that many videos with you interacting with cops." I'm like, "Well, I'm normally telling the stories, and then once in a while I get wrapped up in a story, like election night."
Yeah, that was a good one. I liked your follow up on it.
Oh, we're not even close to done. So,
Uh, I hope
So
you.
if anybody, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I hope you do you make a formal complaint on those election officials.
well, the
Oh, yeah, that whole thing really made me mad.
that the audio capture that I got from the sheriff's office made you mad, AVA?
It's just the fact that I think her name's Amber, right? She
Yeah.
just has this somehow she thinks she has this power, and it just went to her head. And I wanted to go in there like the Undertaker and give her a choke slam.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually
Get out! You're gonna get out.
yeah. I don't know. If you go and you listen to the audio from the sheriff's office from the deputy that was on scene, you can I have the commentary version and then I have just a regular audio up. With just the pictures. And you'll hear her say, "Watch my tone. I have a tone." And then she goes into explaining that she's a mom and that's why her kids don't talk back to her when she tells them what to do. And I'm just like, why would you, whether you know you're being recorded by the officer, by the deputy that's there or not, why would you ever brag about that? Why would you brag that your kids are afraid to talk back to you? And I know that sounds counterintuitive, but your kids should not be afraid of you. At no point should your children ever be afraid of you. And
They should respect you,
yeah,
but not be afraid.
right. And I know that there's probably some people from older generations than mine, watching, who maybe grew up with parents that taught this.
It made me very resentful.
Huh?
I had parents like that, and made me very resentful. Like
I
don't. That's a whole another show right there.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I don't. It's for me, it's just, it says a lot about you as an individual that in the midst of that situation that you caused, you decide that your defense for your tone with me as your boss, ultimately as your boss in that situation, you are trying to show your dominance over me, and your defense of your dominance over me in that moment, trying to show dominance over me in that moment, is to brag about your children being afraid of you. Therefore, everyone else should be afraid of you as well. And then for them to go through and then crack jokes about assaulting me, and then for her to very seriously ask the deputy to arrest me. And then when the deputy goes, "Well," she goes, "I was just kidding." No, you weren't. You weren't kidding. And that's to me why, why I like Bassie, is because she's not just dealing with cops.
Yeah.
She's like, we all know, West Side will know this, and in AVA, this, but cops are just easy targets. They're the low fruit. They're the
most public.
Yeah, they're the low-hanging fruit. If you want to find a tyrant, all you have to do is just like walk around with a camera in public, and you'll find a tyrant cop in a heartbeat. You will. It's almost guaranteed. The absolute definition of a tiered tyranny is in how public servants outside of the law enforcement world behave. And I saw that with addressing the city council at their last meeting here in my city, when I went to address the issue on election night to the city council, and the mayor, as soon as I started, wouldn't look at me. He would not make any eye contact with me, and worse, he completely disrespected me by opening up his package of notes for the meeting and starting to scribble notes to himself about what was going to be going on in the meeting. And I called him out. And someone approached me afterwards and said, "I'm glad you did that, because he does that to every single person he doesn't like and doesn't want to talk to when they're speaking."
That was absolutely clear that he wanted nothing to do with you, and he didn't want to give you your time.
Yeah, well, and then when they told me my time was up, I may have gotten a little, I don't know. I wish more veterans would. Honestly, I wish far more veterans would get involved in the accountability activism arena.
Yeah. That's why I love what the Angry Vet is doing. He's focusing so much on accountability.
Well, I think AVA is a really good example of that. You know, we got the East Coast version and we have the West Coast version. You know, we've got the Angry Vet, we've got TAV, and we got AVA. And I'm going to sneeze.
Get inside.
I think I'm done. They normally come in 2s or 3s, so we'll see. And they're really loud. But both of them are accidental in what they do. And when I mean accidental, it's not to say that they're not intentional now, but they both got involved accidentally because of how they were treated, not by cops, but by other public servants who were getting paid off the backs of the wage slaves. And then they take these positions and they immediately begin to think that somehow they are literally, like, they take that term city official or government official and they immediately forget that they're not officials. They are servants. And therefore they could treat you however you want to be treated. And so you, especially with the VA, you've got TAV and AVA, and you got others, Blind Justice. But you look, and like, this entire organization, this entire administration exists to serve veterans, and they literally criminalize you. They do everything in their power to weaponize the entire system against you because they just decide they don't like you, and they don't need a single cop to do that. And that's why I have so much respect for the cop watchers. I really do. So Westside, props to you for doing what you do, especially if you're out there doing that on your own. But we need far more veterans going to city council meetings and school board meetings and county commissioner meetings and planning and zoning meetings, you name it. Like, we need far more going out there and holding up their cameras and holding these people accountable and looking for reasons to speak at every meeting. There's always a reason to speak in public comments, even if it's to tell them, hey, you did a good job last week, or you made some really good decisions.
I love the public comments.
I'm sorry, I was on a tear.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, I love the public comments. And I'm not talking about Alex Stein, even though I love what he does. Like, my favorite is, I don't know, it's gone viral a couple times, and it came out a couple years ago where the woman's up and she's like just going off, and she's at a planning commission. They're like, we're talking about the rezoning. And she's like, well, I don't like Facebook, and so did this. And they're like, do you have any comments about what we're doing? And she's like, oh, I don't know anything about that. They're like, okay, thank you. But I love that. And people should go to their local meetings. You should know who's on the ballot for your local positions way more than you should the state and federal. They're going to have a bigger effect in your life.
Oh, there's my skipper turning more libertarian every day.
My
will admit
congressman stopped posting his town hall meeting locations, so I can't go over there and say a little bit of how I feel.
Say that again.
I was saying for me wanting to go out and do some accountability work, my congressman, he stopped posting his town hall meeting locations and times, so I can't show up.
Well, that means other people aren't showing up either unless they're there on personal invite. So
Mhm.
I mean, you've kind of accomplished something in that you've made him.
That tells you that you're affecting him. They're worried about you.
Well, I don't know. It's not even that they're worried about you, AVA. They know they're being scrutinized, and all it takes is one voice like yours, AVA, to bring that kind of scrutiny and other people to stand up and take watch. So
I appreciate it. I want to do more work out there for accountability wise to get the VA to dismantle itself instead of us having to dig in there and do it. But
well,
one day at a time.
I've been telling Skipper this for years. The best thing that we could hope for is that somebody will step in and actually just seize the VA budget, dismantle the VA, sell off all the VA properties, and give all of that money that goes to the VA every year, portion it out to the veterans. They all get an equal amount. Every veteran gets an equal amount, and that's not communism. But
there's a lot of money that gets shelled out to the VA, but where does it go?
Exactly. That's my point. How many of us would have to worry about being, getting, and I'll just bring it up. Skipper and AVA and others have been pushing me and pushing me and pushing me. TC, you gotta go file a claim, file a claim, get her ratings, get her a disability rating. And Lord knows I am disabled, just not in the way that some of you are. I'll leave that open to interpretation. But we wouldn't have to worry about disability ratings. We wouldn't have to worry about 20% or 70% or 80 or 90 or 100 and how many dollars a month that breaks down to and what the benefit is to your family. Skipper, look it up real quick. What is the annual budget of the VA every year? It's got to be into the billions.
It definitely is.
See, I like the ASMR typing sound there. So I don't know if anybody watched my my discussion with how much was it? I didn't see.
I'm putting it back up because it was gonna create an echo because I was sharing the audio.
Mods, dropping links, please.
369.3 billion
a year.
Yeah.
So
now the mandatory funding is where you have your VA disability pensions, all that stuff. That's where this is right here, mandatory funding.
Right.
And look at the discretionary. This is for your the cemeteries, your hospitals, all that. 134 billion. So if you can cut this, how much of that becomes available for this? It's almost half.
Now, just imagine taking all of that money, that combined money, and distributing it to the vets instead of employing administrators and building new buildings, or seizing land that's been given to the VA to go to the vets and selling it off to sports complex or sports complexes. And then pocketing that money in the budget secretly of the VA and not getting it into the hands of the vets. Like, how many vets are there in this country right now? It's got to be
Do you know who the biggest healthcare insurer is in the country?
The federal government.
The VA.
Yeah. So
And yet we have a Health and Human Services. So why is it doing a function that another part of government does?
and just imagine what that would break down to in a year for every vet, and the help that
Yeah.
they could get themselves, the medical care that they could afford to go out and buy in the private market. Imagine what they could do for their families. But instead, like is the norm for every single federal program, it doesn't go. They strip the wage slaves, taxpayers, and folks, that's what you are. You are a wage slave taxpayer.
Mhm.
You are a slave. Every single one of you is a slave to the federal government.
And here's the other thing: the people that challenge us on this, go volunteer at your local VA. Go volunteer. Learn how bad it is. Don't argue with me. Go volunteer.
And take a look at how many veterans are actually working behind the desk compared to civilians. And then look at the jobs that the veterans are actually doing. At my VA, the janitors are the veterans, and then everybody else is civilian.
There you go. My dad is a veteran. He's renting, can't get a home loan because of his age and the low income. And see, the VA home loan is one of the easiest ways to build wealth. West Side Accountability. I've got as you can just see down below, I've got a phone number. You can also call me on Twitter or Facebook. Let's get together and we can talk and try to find some options for your dad. That's what we do here. Because it's BS. With the VA home loan, what we're probably going to find is it's not the VA themselves. It's probably the lenders or the seller. Because when you inject all these other people, they can they can affect that process. But every veteran and everybody listening here, every veteran should own a home using the VA home loan. You don't have to put any money down. Now that
You have to have a minimum credit score.
You have to have a fair credit score. So if it's around 600, you will most likely be accepted. And if you aren't at 600, there's VA debt consolidation programs out there you can take advantage of. And that's why I want to do the veteran financial things, is to kind of get these things out there.
But so yeah, and that's why I was saying what I was saying too, is like so many people are Ron Paul had and I'm going to paraphrase Ron Paul. If you don't like Ron Paul, I don't know if there's any hope for you, but Ron Paul had said our founding fathers never envisioned a time where the people of this country would ever work and slave on a daily basis to pay nearly half of their income just to the federal government alone. And that's not a lack of foresight on their part. It was built into the system. Their desire was never for, that's why they didn't want a standing military, to be honest with you. They did not want a standing military.
Mm-hmm. They were very, I don't want to say cautious, they were very leery of it.
Distrusting. And
that's why I laugh about whenever the left says, oh no, the First Amendment is for, or the Second Amendment is for well-regulated militia. I was like, who do you think that is? It's not our military. It's not the reserves, because the reserves didn't exist for over 100 years after. Like, who do you think that's for? It literally says right of the people.
Yeah. So, I mean, and this has been my struggle, seeing what Skipper has had to go through, and his stuff is pretty minor. No offense, Skipper, but I mean, comparatively, seeing what Skipper's had to go through just with his eyeglass appointment this last year. And
Yeah.
And then what AVA's gone through.
Struggle in German is Mein Kampf.
Say that again. I'm sorry, what?
Your struggle in German is Mein Kampf. Literal translation.
I know. I'm trying to. Thanks. We're literally. This is why you should never restream a Skipper show. This yes. This has been why it's been very hard for me to go into the system, because I know myself. I know that I'm speaking another language. Someone is going to mistreat me in the system, and I am going to hold them accountable, and I'm going to end up in the same ball of trouble that AVA's been in, or maybe even to the worst level, what Tav's gone through.
Mhm.
And for those of you, by the way, Tav is a good friend of the show. The Angry Vet is a good friend of the show. He's a good friend of my show. He's a good friend to a lot of people. He is coming under a lot of attack right now. And we're very much about not dragging other people's drama, or even drama from other, and Skipper and I've talked about this drama from other things that Skipper talks about that aren't part of the show into this. Don't rope me into your BS. Exactly. Tav could really use, if you know anything about Tav, the guy will give you the shirt off his back.
He will. Yeah.
He literally drove all the way from Baltimore to Waterloo, Iowa, to give Bo Bish from Flex Your Freedoms a vehicle.
Retired Coast Guard.
Yeah, and he was in the Navy. But he retired from the Coast Guard, and people are just running him through the ringer right now. And
yeah, they're literally saying he's not a veteran, and it's like, dude gets a retirement check from the Coast Guard.
Yeah. So,
can I say something before we stray away from the VA? Is that for those of you that are out there that don't think that the VA is corrupt or tyrannical, ask yourself, why is there a disruptive behavior committee?
Well, exactly.
I agree. It should be directed. It should be directed at their own staff.
Right?
Yes. And they don't have a reporting system for the veterans that are abused.
Yeah. It's probably there somewhere, but it's hidden so well you can't find it.
Do we want to keep on this subject, or do we want to go to something positive?
I brought up Tav because I want people who aren't aware that he's part of this, and that's where his problem started, was with the VA. And I know that there's a lot of benefits in going through the rigmarole that you have to go through to get the benefits, but that's also part of my struggle is why is it so damn hard? Why does it have to be so hard for someone like me, and even and hard for people who have earned a lot more by way of the treatment that they need to get from the VA, people who have actually literally put their life on the line. I was just a paratrooper during a relative time of peace. I did next to nothing, but we got guys like AVA and Skipper and Blind Justice, who literally have been out there.
That guy's been through some horrible stuff. They have victimized that guy every chance.
And like, you guys are the guys that deserve it, and you can't even get the the help. So it's just asinine to me. The best thing to do would dismantle the entire system and pay that out to the vets in an annual stipend. You know, you could have literally a staff of 50 people figuring out when to put the checks in people's account. That's it. Like,
I really wish we can get you to do a claim, but not just do a claim, record and document the process. Because for a lot of people who've never done it, you know, you've never done it. So you'll have a lot of the same questions that I had when I started doing it. And I think that could be a great learning experience.
Could somebody put the Wilburns in timeout, please?
I'm feeling good right now. I don't even have my mustache trimmed. Nothing.
Thank you, Matt Englishman. Appreciate it. And it's what we do here. Yeah, it's, and I think the more people know how bad the VA is and how bad they mistreat veterans, you know, once you understand that, you'll understand why so many veterans are pissed off and hate the VA. And yeah, you'll get those who are like, oh, they're great at my VA hospital. Great. If you have a great VA hospital, I am happy for you. But we have brothers and sisters out there who don't have that. And you should be, even though yours is good, you should be fighting for them to have that. Like, I'm in community care. My VA sucks, but I don't have to go to it. I still fight for those who have to go there.
And that's my goal too with what I do, is to try to open the eyes of others to what's going on so that it can be prevented, so that what happened to me, or what happened to Tav, what happened to everybody that's been hurt by the VA, that it doesn't keep happening, or it can at least stop.
Absolutely.
Because I want people to realize too that I did the exact same thing that Tav did. I got a slap on the wrist compared to what he got.
Yeah. And it's not illegal. It is not illegal at all.
Yeah.
To go into your VA and record is not illegal. In fact, and with Kahanu, with what he does, he's got TBI. He won't remember stuff. He has to record.
Yeah, they don't like that.
If you're a government official, I don't care what aspect of government you are in. If a camera scares you, you are a part of the problem. If you don't want transparency and accountability, you are a part of the problem.
Yeah, it's
part of the debacle that I'm in is the fact that I want to have accountability and I want people to be held responsible for what they've done, but it's turned into such a mess that I am being persecuted at the VA to the point where they threaten to have me arrested just for showing up.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Think about that. Never committed a crime, and they want to arrest you for showing up at a government building. That's your First Amendment right to redress grievances with your government.
well. Here's what people don't understand too is that they will scream and holler at you for having a camera recording your experience when they are literally screaming and hollering not to look at their cameras as they record everything that you are doing and saying. I don't know if that made any sense, but that's just what I don't know how else to, like, you don't get to record anything, but we're going to record everything and then not give you any access to it.
Yep.
Man, I'm not even streaming us right now, and I lost 7 subscribers since we started. So somebody doesn't out there.
Nancy, you don't need permission to record at the VA. That's our right as citizens or as Americans, and it's also a patient right.
Yeah, that you,
You can record your own doctor talking about your diagnosis. It's your privacy. So you can't break your own privacy. You can record all that. And if you're talking about in other areas, if they're discussing other patients' stuff in a public area, that's a problem.
like they did me. The last time I was there, they wouldn't let me in the back and discuss my entire case out in the lobby.
Yeah. See, that's
and,
a
and the other
violation
thing
of your rights.
and the other thing to keep in mind too as well, Nancy, is that the VA is federal, right? So even if you live in a state that is considered a two-party consent state, that does not apply to federal property. The federal
Mhm.
government cannot enforce two-party consent, especially if you are recording your own content for your own appointment. And ultimately, no, see, that's in Maryland. You don't, because in the VA, Maryland has no jurisdiction over the VA. The
And here's
state
the
of
other thing.
Maryland has no jurisdiction over the VA.
In
That's why
every
the VA has
two-party
go ahead. Sorry.
every two-party consent state, if I pull out my phone and I'm recording and I'm in a public area and I'm not like in your private office or anything, and we're not discussing my situation and I just start recording, you have the ability to walk away. If you remain, you are consenting, and this is the Supreme Court, you are consenting to me openly recording.
Right.
And that is true even of your employer. If your employer pulls you in and you take your phone and you start recording and you put it down, they can say, well, you can't record me. It's like, okay, well, then we don't have to have this meeting and you can leave. And if they remain, they are giving implied consent. Sorry.
No, that's what people need to understand too. And so Nancy said Maryland law prohibits recording private conversations. When you actually look into Maryland's law, what that's referring to is phone calls, telecommunications, where you're having a private conversation with someone and then you record it and then use it against them. That's not having a camera on you in public or in a public space or in a government building. That is not the same thing at all. It is literally not the same thing. Then you have to add in that you are also having to take into consideration that, once again, a federal building is federal property. It is not under the jurisdiction of the state that the building resides in. It is federal property. That's why you look at people who go and record in post offices, and the post office very often will call local law enforcement. And local law enforcement has no jurisdictional authority to enforce even a trespassing request for a post office unless they have for lack of better terminology, and I cannot remember the exact phrase, but it's basically an adjoinder, an agreement between the USPS and local law enforcement that grants them the authority to do that. And it has to be on record and accessible.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with every federal building. And that's why you go to the Social Security Administration office in your town, they have their own cop. They have a Social Security police officer there at the door. The VA has their own police at the door because federal, and I don't like this, but this is the way it works, federal buildings operate outside of the purview of the local jurisdiction, the city, the county, and the state that they're in. None of those laws apply to them or to their property at all.
And these wiretapping and two-party consent laws, they're for secret recording. It's all to prevent secret recording. Now, there's an exception to them in every state that if you believe that there's going to be a crime committed, then you can secretly record. And that protects like news organizations who go in and find like, your local grocery store contaminating, food or putting up expired food, changing the things like John Stossel type stuff. Those are still protected even in a two-party consent state. But if you're openly recording, these things don't apply.
Yep. Skipper, scroll down to Suzanne 7 Imperial Beach, Cali. That's a very long name. It's almost as interesting as 2 twat waffles.
We're looking to have her on the show. Are you talking about this comment?
Yeah. My take on some of the VA is why do I know fully able-bodied mind people working full-time civil service and also receiving 100% military disability? This confuses me. Other vets get jack shit. Honestly, a lot of vets that get jack shit are because they haven't gone through the process.
or don't know how the system works.
Or don't know how the system works. When you get 100% rating, I think Skipper says it's going up here in January to $4,200 a month.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
Did you say $4,200 a month for 100%?
Yeah, it's going to go up for it's a little bit over 4,000, but this is for 100%. It'll go up to like 4,250 as of the first of the year.
So, what 100% rating does in the VA, it when they say you're 100% disabled, they're not saying that you literally are incapable of working. What they're saying is that there are enough parameters that are military occupation related.
Yeah,
that
they are 100% responsible for those injuries.
So that the recurring migraines, the tinnitus. Who is this person?
That's a shit stirrer. That's a problem. That's someone who's a problem, and I know who it is.
Is this a person that hates you because of your other content?
No, this is a person that loves me, but loves you, and is stirring shit right now.
Do I know them?
Yes, you do. I'll text you right now who their identity is, but I don't think they want it out there.
I won't say anything.
That name is awesome.
Oh, what am I doing? We got private chat here. I'll put it there. I'm an idiot. Yeah, complete shit stir.
So the 100% disability is 100% the responsibility of the military, of the VA, and therefore you get this payment every month plus all these other benefits. It's not a statement of your ability to work. In fact, they encourage people to work even when they're on 100%.
And Suzanne wants to come on the show, and we're going to talk later today. But there's a specific question I have for you that we'll talk about, and that is for retirees. If you've retired from the military, have you applied for? There's a special compensation. We'll go over this because that takes a part of your retirement payment and makes it a VA payment, which is tax free. So you might be paying taxes on money that you don't need to. And again, these are things I've learned. You need to learn how to work the system. They don't tell you this.
Mike is pretty damn knowledgeable.
Don't stroke his ego.
Stroke.
Are you really retarded?
Yes, he is.
With all of my stuff.
So, you said you had an elevator pitch.
Willing to learn.
For those of you that don't know, Skipper has these elevator pitches that he likes to do where he creates a fantastical sitcom or TV show, and he likes to do these elevator pitches to me just so I can shoot him down. I mean, it's literally I don't think I've ever approved one ever.
There was one you said I might watch that. There was one. I'll have to go back and look.
Okay,
So
you find that one. But, so
I'll get into this one.
Yeah, let's
And that way-
hear your elevator pitch.
So you guys in the chat, the way this works is I got 30 seconds to give you my elevator pitch. TC and AVA, they're going to give their take on it, but you in the chat get to say whatever you want about if you think it's a show or TV or movie or series, if it's something that you want to see. Now, I only have one.
No,
It's-
Fat Lisa wants to know if I'd rather have my ego stroked. It's not the ego I'm worried about.
Ooh. All right, bye, West Side.
So this is a TV show. It's
By
called
West Side.
It's called Common Law. Neil Patrick Harris has had his identity stolen by his brother, who passed away. Unfortunately, his brother's been living under his name with a common law wife, played by Lauren Graham, who plays loose with the law and doesn't want to leave the house. Now, Harris must remain living with her until the small town family court can order her out despite her delays and machinations. Again, it's called Common Law.
I'm 50-50 on that. Your opening was pretty funny.
It's a sitcom, you know?
I'm over Neil
Do
Patrick.
we have to
Harris.
keep Neil Patrick Harris? Yeah, exactly.
I'm over Doogie. I'm just highly overrated.
It sounds pretty funny. I think it would be funny.
I think it could be, quirky and fun.
How did you? I don't even want to know. Like, it must come from the times you do have to commute to work.
When I'm sitting there quietly in my own head, this is where I come up with this stuff.
Yeah, this is why you should never be left alone in your own head.
Ideas, folks. I get ideas.
That's what we're calling it.
You know what I like about us doing this on Sundays?
You haven't been working all day, and you're fresher for the content.
That, and we don't have anything up against it, so we're not in a rush to end.
Speak for yourself. Should we tell everybody about how long AVA goes without resetting his phone?
Well, I didn't know you had to do that. I thought they do it themselves.
This boy got a new phone 3 months ago, and he kept getting kicked out of the stream before we started. And I'm like, "When's the last time you restarted your phone, bro?" And he was like, "I've never restarted my phone." 3 months, folks. 3 months.
I didn't know that was a thing, man.
Yeah,
They don't tell you that in the book.
Things get wonky with the code, so that's why you have to occasionally restart everything. And that's pretty much true of most electronic devices. Unless if you get a good good issue. Like I'm trying to think like an example.
How many people are watching? It doesn't tell me. Nothing matters.
Of the ones I can check right now, 93. And we did have some people on Rumble. They're not there at we got one person on Rumble. Whoever that is, give us a message. Say hi.
I know of the 93, not all of you are subbed to my channel, so what are you doing?
We got 72 on my channel. We got 2 on AVA's, and we got 19 from Twitter watching.
Twitter what? It's Twix.
Thank you for all of you being here.
Twix.
It's Twix. Twitter and X make Twix. You have the left side and the right side. Twix. That's why I call it Twix.
Give me a break. Give me. Oh wait, no. That's different.
I don't think Twix has a theme song.
That's Kit Kat bar.
Not yet, at least.
Okay, so are any of you paying attention to the drones?
Oh yeah, I had them go over my house. Why?
I had a.
There's nothing out here.
I didn't have a drone here, but we had a orb.
That was a drone,
on
bro.
my house.
That's a drone.
Okay. Well, it sat still over the tree for a while, and then when the helicopter showed up, it zoomed off. But when I took a picture of it, there was no internal craft.
Yes, it's because it's plasma shielded.
Well, I believe that. And then, like, when I was trying to take a picture of it the first time, it kept making my camera zoom back out.
It's plasma shielded.
I thought that was really cool. Then
Yeah,
the helicopter left for McClellan and started following it.
What made Susan spit out her coffee? What did the fat walrus say that made Susan spit out her coffee?
I want Mike to do to me what Tori does to Jeff.
I don't get it. So I'm probably glad I don't get it. So,
I think she's referencing pegging.
Oh, good. Never
yeah.
a dull moment here.
So Skipper, when you first heard about these or AVA, what was your first response? What did you think was happening?
I did a YouTube short. I believe that this is the government doing it because they don't seem to care, and that just tells me, oh, that's them.
My personal belief in it is I think that I agree with Mike that these drones are ours, but I don't think that they're out there looking for WMDs or whatnot. I think that they're out there trying to track these orbs that may or may not be other drones. But again, Mike said something a week ago, I believe, that our government's trying to desensitize us to seeing things in the sky.
I think there's a little bit of that. What is a plasma shield? So okay. So
look at the picture I posted. Definitely a plasma shield.
So for anything to go supersonic, and I am not a avionics, aviation engineer, but I've been doing some digging into this, and there's a guy that was on Liberty Lockdown with Clint Russell just a few days ago, who really goes into this, and this is what got me digging into this. So for anything to go supersonic, it has to have a plasma shield on it. There's not a single aircraft that can sustain supersonic speeds without a plasma shield. And so even going back to the early supersonic days, like the what was the first supersonic, Skipper?
Chuck Yeager.
Yeah, but
SR-71.
Was it the 71 or was it the U-2? U-2 was ultra. Yeah. So really. So they have to have something that causes the air to part around them. And this technology goes back a very, very long time. Like there is a hard to find video out there where that's over 25 years or so old about them talking about how long they've been doing this. But what it does is it generates this shield, especially on like an airplane. parts the air, which actually causes a massive amount of friction around the aircraft, which allows the aircraft to fly without any impediment, which allows it to reach these supersonic speeds without shaking itself to pieces. And as technology has progressed, they have developed lasers that mount onto aircraft that generate that plasma shield, and they're working now with them on drones because drones can fly without, obviously it's a drone, it doesn't have to have a person inside of it, and they can do things like hard G turns that if you put a person at supersonic speeds into a vehicle that was going to literally stop and at that supersonic speed and then reverse course right back into supersonic speed, it would squish that person into jelly. And there is technology now for these drones to be plasma shielded, which virtually makes them the inside of them invisible. So what all you're seeing is an orb. And
Okay.
so this drone is there. And what I would say we're having two things happen at once. It always works for the good of the state. It's a distraction. They want us looking at something else besides what's going on. And right now the drones are the best way. They got everybody worried about the drones. What's going on with the drones? And one of the things that you hear people talking about is the use of drones in Ukraine. The Ukrainians especially have been using drones to slaughter Russians on the ground. They're literally throwing drones at Russian soldiers as they're fleeing. And even when they surrender, they just fly the drone into them, and the drone blows up and takes out the soldier. Yeah. This is why we have to do an intervention for the soundboard. So, yeah,
I definitely would love to know what's really going on. Will we ever know? Probably not. But the theory that they're coming off of a mothership from Iran or an Iranian mothership sounds dumb, really dumb to me.
well, but there you have people in Congress saying, I have people on the inside saying it's the Iranians, because they're building us up to take down Iran. They want to take Iran down. And as somebody else pointed out, we only shoot down our own aircraft because we shot down an F-18 the other day. So from its own ship shot it down.
If anybody's interested, all right, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, AVA.
If anybody's interested, in my community page, I posted a picture of the orb that I saw.
Definitely go and subscribe to AVA.
Jen says, drones are put up from government to distract us from the truth, to hide the orbs. Come on, the government had already made contact. They've known about them before the 30s.
I think it's to desensitize us to it. You know, get us used to seeing these drones, and then we won't, you know.
I think it's a combination of desensitizing us. Good God. I think I need to restart. And I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I think they're also distracting us from something else that's going on. And the fact that everybody has, posited, oh, they're looking for missing uranium. Well, they don't need drones to look for missing uranium. If you guys know what NEST is, NEST has all the technology that they need to be able to find radiation signals of dangerous levels without having to send drones flying all over the state of New Jersey or wherever it might be. They're trying to distract us from something, and while they're doing it, it has an added benefit of getting people used to being surveilled by drones. And if this was literally happening as a threat to the U.S. from an outside entity, as much as I distrust the government, as much as I distrust the state, they would not, if this was actually something that was being done to come after us as a country, they would do something about it because it would justify taking action against whatever foreign actor it is. And I think it is very much an issue of not only are they distracting us and desensitizing us, but imagine now the first time some private individual uses a drone as a weapon against another private individual. This will give them everything they need because people aren't going to be looking. They're not going to be looking. Like, oh, it's just another drone. Who cares?
They're concerned right now, but the more this goes on, people will get desensitized and be like, "Oh, well, we don't care."
Exactly, and I think that fits in very well with what Suzanne said. Is that it's gotten more people gotten more folks concerned, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the distraction aspect. And then once people they don't get an answer and they continue to see the drones, they'll just move on. I mean, folks, think about it. 2020, they shut this entire country down. They shut down the entire country. They ruined our economy. The Republicans and the Democrats together shut our country down. Your boy Trump and the Democrats and the Republicans all were in on it. They destroyed our economy. They shut our country down, all of them together. They're all responsible, and y'all forgot. Not all of you, but when I say y'all, you know what I mean. Y'all forgot. You just went back about your life. When they told you everything was fine, you went back about your life. And that's what they proved. 2020 proved they could do whatever the hell they wanted to do,
Mm-hmm.
and you would just eventually comply.
You would turn on your friends, family, and neighbors for them. They proved that.
And yes, Slug, the drones are here to get all the men pregnant, precisely. Every time somebody says something like that, I have to go and look at the chickens for a few seconds. So what this is doing is it's distracting us from something else that's going on. I would say, eventually, not eventually. What they're really doing is, one, it's a distraction as everybody's looking up and wondering, like, what are you guys going to do about all these drones? They're still sending money to Israel. They're still sending money to Ukraine. They're ramping up U.S. military presence in Eastern Europe. The United States just deployed an armored division to Poland. Tanks, folks. Tanks.
You're welcome.
Good God.
He's like, why did I agree to this?
Right, we're done. The show is over. But I want you guys to think about this. They deployed tanks to Poland, an armored division, Abrams, and all their support teams. That's infantry fighting vehicles and all of that has deployed to Poland, folks. Why? Why?
Because we're getting involved in a big mess.
Exactly. And
Staging, I don't need to tell you.
We're staging heavy metal, literally heavy metal, heavy armor, the heaviest armor units that you can come up with in Poland, which has been pushing. Poland has been pushing to use Article 5 of the NATO Charter, to go to war with Russia. Ever since Ukraine misfired an anti-aircraft missile into a farm in Poland and killed two two Polish farmers. They tried to bring Article 5 of the convention into play to go to war with Russia. England and France are talking about putting combat troops on the ground in eastern Ukraine right now to fight Russians. We are literally bombing all over Syria right now. Nobody gives a damn. You guys, not you guys, but the public doesn't care. They just don't care because they're too busy looking at our skies and saying, "What are these drones all about?" Yeah, Poland, exactly. Why? Because they want us embroiled in a war. They're pushing this as hard as they can right now, as much as possible, so as to provoke somebody to do something to kick this off before Trump comes in. And if it does kick off or it's escalated to a point, Trump's not going to be able to back it off. He's not going to be able to stop it.
They've been trying this for years, and I'll give you a very famous example. When Yugoslavia it fell and it turned into a civil war, and we started sending troops there as a peacekeeping force. The Russians sent troops as well, and there was a base, a former base. It was an air base, wasn't being used, and for a long time, we kept saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to occupy that base," and we weren't. The NATO forces were not occupying the base, and finally, the Russians just got tired and said, "Okay." They just went and occupied the base, and the issue is, then it was discussed: are we going to let the Russians do it? And General Wesley Clark, who ran for president, ordered NATO to attack the Russian troops for occupying this base that no one was using. And it was a British general, General Mike Jackson, who said, "No, we've spent the last 50 years avoiding World War III. I'm not going to start it today." So don't think that this is new. This has been around for many, many years, where you have certain people within the U.S. and other places who want nothing but a conflict with Russia.
I contrary.
Roy, we had a full armored division, forward elements of 2 other armored divisions stationed in Germany until the 90s. Yeah. This is, I know that. I was stationed in Germany with Army. But this is different. This is vastly different. We are fighting a multi-pronged war right now. I mean, we haven't not fought war since the end of World War II. People need to understand this. For over 82 years, the United States has been on almost every continent of the world fighting wars.
Yeah, we're in Syria right now. We've got foreign military advisors on the ground in Syria,
and we're actively bombing, and we're still bombing the Houthis. We're still bombing the Houthis, which is how that F-18 got shot down the other day by its own ship. An F-18 Hornet got shot down by its own ship the other day. Like, folks, like somebody said earlier, and who's in office? Belinda said, and who's in office? Biden. Like, look, I don't like Biden, but this is not just a Biden problem. This is a war hawk, warmongering, we don't give a damn about the troops problem. The Democrats and the Republicans all want war. They just want war in different places. And some of them want war in both places.
Mm-hmm.
Eye Patch McCain, Dan Crenshaw, Eye Patch McCain wants to pummel Russia. He wants to keep sending, he wants troops to go to war with Russia. He's said it. I mean, he hasn't used those exact words, but he has said it. He wants to keep bombing Syria. He wants to bomb Iran. And if you guys don't know, there's a clip of Wesley Clark talking about at the beginning of the global war on terror. He's walking through the Pentagon, and one of his former attachés, a general, comes up and tells him, "Look, we're going to war with Iraq. We have no proof, but we're going to war with Iraq. And then he said, and we also have a list of 7 countries that we want to take out in 5 years. Do you know which countries were on that list? Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Libya. Oh gosh, what was it? Iran, and there was Yemen. Might have been another one. But there were 7 countries in 5 years. Now they didn't get their 5 years, but there's only 2 countries left off that list: Lebanon and Iran. And we, not we, the people, but as the United States orchestrated taking down Syria. The United States State Department, the CIA, and others orchestrated taking down Syria. And you know who they used to do it? ISIS, Al Qaeda, the people that Skipper and AVA were told were the bad guys that really needed to be killed. We're now funding them as they take down Syria.
It's interesting to look at it like that when we provided them arms, money, vehicles.
We funded ISIS, Al Qaeda in Iraq. We funded them when they used nerve agents in Syria, and then we blamed Bashar al-Assad for it. We blamed that and justified bombing. And you know who else is now not only bombing Syria, but is actively marching into Syria and taking property and holding it? Israel. Israel has taken Syrian property and is saying we're not leaving. So while these drones are flying all over the place, we're being distracted from what is really bad for us right now. Your government is trying to kill as many people as possible in other countries. They're trying to sacrifice your boys and your girls, get them involved in more conflicts and more wars, while you're all looking at the skies going, what are those drones and what are we going to do about it? So you're being distracted and you're being desensitized. And everybody thinks that Trump coming into office in January is going to fix all of this. By the time he gets there, it's going to be way too late. The damage will have been done. And when it comes to the Middle East, he will back any move Israel makes. If Israel says we need to take out Yemen, he'll agree with them. And we know that because he assassinated, Trump ordered the assassination of General Soleimani in Iraq. Who is General Soleimani? He was the leading general for the Iranian military. And he was in Iraq. You know what he was doing in Iraq, folks? He was fighting ISIS. He was taking out ISIS. He wasn't attacking American soldiers. He wasn't attacking American airmen. He wasn't attacking American Marines. He wasn't attacking American ships. He was attacking terrorist organizations that were trying to kill Iraqis and threatening to come into Iran. And when they spotted him and confirmed him being in Iraq, Trump ordered his assassination. Folks, this is not over in the middle of January. And if you really care about your soldiers and you care about your airmen and you care about your Marines and you care about your sailors and your seamen, if you care about them, you have got to start asking these really hard questions and paying attention to these things. Because we're about to create an entire new crop of wounded military service members to fund the military-industrial complex and the war machine, whether it be in Eastern Europe or in the Middle East. They're not done killing us for their gain.
Mm-hmm.
And promising us care after they've brought us home from killing other people's children.
Absolutely.
End rant, sorry.
No, you're fine. Didn't interrupt you because I agreed with everything.
It's just hard too. I have friends that are going to basic training, and I've tried to tell them like these are the current situations, and this is what you had to look forward to.
It's like I picked the wrong week to quit amphetamines.
I agree.
My Bluetooth died.
Oh, actually your sound's better without it.
Oh, okay.
So
We're coming up on 2 hours, so do we want to go further than that?
I don't have.
Okay.
This is what this show has always been. For those of you that aren't used to this, and I know that Skipper's got a whole ton of people that watch now that are not used to they've never seen us do this. This is what we do. Skipper says funny stuff, and then I crap all over it. Slugs,
And I'm just the guy on the couch.
Please don't tell us anything else about where you're sitting or wearing right now. Do not go any further. Georgie won't be able to keep. She'll have to turn the air conditioning on. Slug says, send me an invite. I got a huge breaking news thing. Well, it depends on what it is, Slug. If it's about you personally and your show, yes.
I'll send him a thing so he can come into the private chat.
Yeah. I just, and this is just so everybody knows, this is not, I enjoy what Skipper does during the week. I just want to be in a hails-free zone.
We try to keep Veteran Nation live as a veteran-centric kind of thing.
This is a non-conflict zone.
No, it's conflict. Yeah. It's just different conflict.
Yeah, we will talk about corruption and all the stuff we talked about, and harassment and accountability. We'll talk about all that stuff, but yeah, we try to keep it structured. Okay, so I see he's in there. If you can let us know what it is in the private chat, and
especially if it's something big for your channel, Slug, because we love you.
Yeah, we do love you.
Vets only.
Oh, if it's comedic for his channel, by all means, let him tell us. We can always use the comedy for that.
Here he is.
Hey, hi, hello. Also, I just bought 43 geckos on the internet.
Is that your breaking news? Your comedic news?
No. So I came in to actually tell you that you're pregnant. The government drones have informed me that you have become pregnant. I wanted to congratulate you. Congrats on the pregnancy.
I am the only person who gets pregnant and loses weight.
Exactly. You were going to piss out, I don't know, a lizard or something.
Oh, I did that this morning.
Nah, but sometime at around 5 p.m., I'm going to be gaming all day, and I'm going to teach Mike how to play Minecraft.
Oh, jeez.
I'm serious. I'm going to try and get Mike to play Minecraft.
Well, Slug, I'm very thankful for your presence in our lives, because you have you have shared stuff that is just not like normally in keeping with your channel. Like, you shared out my stuff, you shared out my Give Send Go that Skipper and Georgie put up, and so many others of you have shared out the Give Send Go, and so I'm
one of the people that's just watching the chicken streams whenever I'm working on scripts for other channels.
Guess what this is going to redirect to when we're done.
Oh, good. Remember, everyone, those chickens are planning to overthrow the government. They are totally January 6th participants.
Big fan of Animal Farm, are we?
Exactly. Suka bliat, comrade.
I want to address something. Even though I had my rant, I want to. Suzanne says my son is on MSRT for Coast Guard. What's MSRT for Coast Guard? I don't.
MSRT.
Skipper, do you know what that is?
I do not. Should we just come up with something for it?
No,
I'm just thinking they really like boats.
they do. And
Maybe it has to do with maritime service, something training.
so she is.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense.
My
Retention
son is
training.
on MSRT for Coast Guard. I'm so scared for him. They deploy overseas as well, but mostly here. He has been to many events in DC where foreign dignitaries. Yeah. Please keep us posted, Suzanne, on how he's doing. And then Belinda said, "Thank you. You open."
Jesus fucking Christ!
Somebody-
that chat. Holy shit!
Oh my. Yeah.
Yeah,
no.
somebody get that out of here, please.
Oh yeah.
Holy
no.
shit! That caught me so off guard. Oh, when you have the liberal laughing at racist shit like that, that is
That's just-
crazy.
That's just discomfort laughing. Yeah. Let's get mods.
Yeah,
Get
holy
mods to get out of
shit!
here.
You see who is in the avatar? It's Stuttering
I
John.
know.
It's Stuttering John from the Howard Stern show in the avatar.
Let's
Oh my god!
mods get rid of that right now. I know you're watching mods. No,
Oh
not
my
your
god,
bad.
that is
terrible.
that is terrifying.
we
That
go.
is terrifying.
So.
Oh
so
my god,
Belinda-
that.
Belinda Rogers says, "TC, thank you. You opened my eyes." Belinda, thank you for taking it well. I really appreciate that. That's one of the things that Skipper and I have talked about, that I know that there are times where people in the audience are not expecting to hear some of the things. Maritime Security Response Team. Thank you. People who are in the
Combat boat people, hell yeah.
people aren't always expecting to hear the things that I say on the show, because they presume a certain level of kind of blind allegiance from vets. And the minute you critique anything about a wartime footing or deployment, they immediately hear, and AVA knows this too, they immediately hear, you must be anti-military, you must hate the vets, you must. No, I say the things that I say. Stick for a second, AVA, just for 1 second. I say the things that I say because I love guys like Skipper, and I love Kanu. I love the Angry Vet. I love my fellow military service members, and I am sick and tired of how they're treated. I'm sick and tired of seeing them hurt themselves. I'm sick and tired of them deleting themselves because we keep sending them off to fight these stupid wars. And Ukraine is not worth it, and Israel is not worth it. There's not one life outside of the United States that is worth the life of a single American service member right now. Not one. Not one. That doesn't mean they aren't valuable to their own people, but let them take care of them and let's us take care of us. That's all. That's why I say the things I say.
No, I completely understand, and I'm able to respect that view. I want to play devil's advocate. I have the demon light on. Of course, we have it on full red. So demon mode hours. I am the temptation in the night, everybody. Let me put on a nice demon voice for y'all, so we're able to have that nice,
just talk like
silky
Skipper.
smooth.
Nah, we're going back to the 40s. So, when it comes to, like, not wanting to really, I guess, get involved in foreign affairs in terms of military action, technically, our country has become the strongest military on earth by being able to support countries that have been attacked or are our allies. like we are the backbone of NATO. Let's not get it twisted. We are the backbone
yeah.
of NATO.
I totally understand that.
So, and Russia is an aggressive party when it comes to Ukraine. Israel, I'm able to kind of agree with you on that. They're fucking doing a bunch of crazy shit. But Ukraine is not the aggressor in the fight involving Russia. Russia, as usual, is the aggressor.
You're not incorrect. You're not incorrect, Slud. But and here's, I can be against the United States intervention in that conflict and still recognize that Russia is the aggressor. But I also, and I think, and I know we're going to wrap it up here quick or soon, but I also think you would be, you might be interested if you ever have time. I know you're busy with school and
oh, my semester is over.
But
I only have one more semester.
You might be interested in the conversation I had with a guy named Scott Horton. He's got a book that Scott Horton. He's got a book that just came out that he's been working on for years. It's called Provoked. And it lays out how the United States has intentionally provoked the Russian response that we're seeing now in Ukraine. And he points out that the United States is doing everything it can in its power to create a second Cold War. They need the Russian boogeyman. The NATO needs the Russian boogeyman. You're 100% correct that the United States is the backbone of NATO. We're also the backbone of the UN. We are the most powerful military in the world in the ability to reach out in different ways as opposed to, say, China or Russia. What makes Russia more terrifying is that they have far more nukes than any other country in the world. The top 5.
But are they all functional, given how Russia's military equipment has been pretty shoddy? That they're even having to rely on North Korean ammunition and weaponry?
Do not undersell. Yeah, just you should check out my conversation with Scott Horton on my channel. Okay, let's spend one of the greatest.
I know. I'm just wanting to be devil's advocate now.
I love these kind of conversations. But the concern, the biggest problem that we have, to be completely frank with you, is that there has not been a war since 1900 that the United States has not been intricately involved in behind the scenes in provoking the war. Every single war. And that they have been involved in. There have been other regional conflicts that the U.S. Has not been involved.
Georgie is only 4'1". She likes to lick crunchy toes. That is a government fact. She loves her toes crunchy, and she loves to chew on them. That has been an objective fact, supported by Mike from Veteran Nation.
I endorse this one.
The concern, the ultimate concern is that we not be involved in interventionism anymore. I'm not talking about pure isolationism. I'm just talking about interventionism. And we are directly responsible for the deaths of the Ukrainian soldiers that continue to die, because when there was a potential for peace, we sent Boris Johnson while he was still in Great Britain, leading Great Britain. We sent him over there to axe the peace plan. The United States told Johnson, no, there's no peace. There will be no
I'd
peace.
have to kind of verify that off stream, just
totally.
So I'm just going to say alleged.
I love that you do that. I really do. I love that you do that. You will find that I'm not incorrect. We have.
Trust but verify.
Yeah.
Yep. Trust but verify.
We have done everything in our power to continue to exacerbate this situation, and every single Ukrainian life that has been lost is directly on the shoulders of America's interventionism and Russia at the same time. And they are conscripting more and more and more of their people. And they're now conscripting Ukrainians under the age of 18. And
Is there? So where did you get that information from?
on the conscription or on Boris Johnson?
On Ukraine conscripting under 18.
You have to get outside of the mainstream sources. When I say mainstream, I mean don't look to Fox News or MSN or MSNBC, CNN. Don't look at them.
Are there like government sources I'm able to find? Kind of like, this is a report from the military. This is this from the Ukrainian source. This is that from this. You know what I mean?
There is a really good publication out there that actually is a little bit more on the left side, philosophically speaking. That's called The Intercept, and they have reported on a bunch of this stuff. So, and there's some really good. What's his Jeremy Kazmarov? Look up Jeremy Kazmarov. Excuse me. Don't ask me how to spell Kazmarov. But Jeremy Kazmarov.
I have the Intercept. The Intercept, all rights reserved. It's a very weird thing. Their thing is like Indiana Department of Correction as their background, midnight executions.
I listen to Intercept people. I don't actually read off their website. I listen to them when they're doing interviews and whatnot. So, but yeah, look up The Intercept. Look up Jeremy Kazmarov. Monica Perez from Deep Dives with Monica. She digs into this stuff and she actually gets into it. Look up the history of the Maidan Revolution or the Maidan Uprising. That was orchestrated by the State Department under a woman named Victoria Nuland. We call her Vicky the Noodle.
So I got 3 sources: Associated Press, the Kyiv Independent, and Al Jazeera. Ukrainians condemn U.S. call to lower conscription age amid Russia's war, and urge to lower conscription age to 18. I believe that is being echoed across all 3 sources. So could it be that it was a misunderstanding that they were just lowering it to 18?
Well, what they're doing is they're just grabbing people off the street and not verifying them. Literally pulling up in vans and grabbing people off the street.
I'll have to verify that.
I don't blame you.
The U.S. government is right now behind the illegal detention of various members of a group called the Asian Dawn, and they are being held captive this Christmas season.
So, what? No.
I don't know why, but I feel like fucking Mike is fucking with us right now. The Asian Dong?
Dawn.
I heard donged, and I'm like, Mike!
It's from Die Hard.
Enough of the penis talk! I
read
know
about
you're in
them
California!
So, folks, welcome to the last. Wait a minute. Are we going to try this next week?
I'm okay with doing it next week.
All right. So, folks, you're going to want to.
We'll be on the road.
You're going to want to tune in next week for the year-end finale of a show that didn't get done enough this year.
And then we read Mike's pregnancy test.
Oh, I've already released that. So,
should I pee on a pregnancy test thing on camera?
Well,
no. Don't do that. If you get positive, you have cancer.
Yes.
That would be the worst way to learn. It's like, I pissed on this pregnancy test. It's positive. I'm a man. Mike, you have cancer.
I would want to know if I have cancer. I want to catch it early.
We don't want to want to learn it on stream live. And I guess we don't want you to stream. We don't want you to stream your stream.
We don't want to have like a comedy bit turn into, so guys, Mike has cancer. How did we learn? He pissed on a pregnancy test.
So
I
so
would
tune,
much rather learn that way than to go through another prostate exam.
That'll be a pain in the ass.
I could have colorectal
Literally.
cancer right now and not know because I'm not letting another man ever.
What if it was a woman?
No. No.
Wow, so you're not sexist. Let's go.
No. That's exit only. But yeah, tune in next Sunday. We will try and set up a regular time on Sundays so you guys know to tune in. But no, well, we let Slug in to give us his announcement that he was going to try and rope Skipper in, so it is vet related. And then and now we've given Slug something to look into over the next few weeks of his Christmas break. So can we mute the Slug? He's way too noisy for a mollusk.
You have two people distracting you now.
So yeah, I'm seriously sending you a virus for that soundboard. I'm just
That'll be the good thing. I'll be on the road next week if we do the show on next Sunday. So there'll be no
Chat,
soundboard.
help. Mike is pulling up to my house and he's going to make me exercise. He's going to be the fat coach being like, okay, here's how you do it. Do this. I'm like, why aren't you doing it? Because I already lived, boy.
Lil Lou, we are very thankful that, and I mean this, we are very thankful that you are cancer free for 6 years. The world would not
Jesus
be the
fucking Christ.
same.
Slug is my submissive.
Lou would not. Lou, the world would not be the same without you. And I am getting ready to launch my TikTok. And no, folks, TikTok is not getting taken down in January.
I can see TC doing like the ooh woo TikTok dances.
No, you
Where
will
he'd
not.
just be like, ooh woo.
No, you will not. No, never. You will never see.
Oh yeah,
that.
stay mad. Stay mad. I got special effects live.
So next Sunday, we're going to try and start working on having a set time going forward into 2025. And we will be bringing different vets on, and we're going to be working on doing a vets panel once a month to talk about vet issues. And by the way, if you guys haven't checked out our good friend Theory is a Marine, and he is a rapper, and his music is absolutely freaking phenomenal. So go find him on Spotify and follow him because he does not make
Theory, but the E and the O is the number 30, and that's how you can find him.
And I don't like rap, but I listen to Theory. So and,
yeah, Slug, I'll send you Theory stuff. You'll like them.
Bet.
But
I'm waiting for TC to start covering the Mr. Beast drama because I feel like he'd just be like, what is this North Carolina boy doing?
No, I know.
He has all these monies and he's not getting any bitches or hoes.
I stay away from Mr. Beast, and I stay away from anything that's related to the Hales. That's just me. That's my ground rule for the show. We do not talk about the Hales or anything related to the Hales here. So
you agree you're going to do a cooking stream?
I do dinner time dialectics all the time where I talk political philosophy while I'm preparing dinner. I do those rather frequently.
I support chicken nuggies.
I got a bread machine, and yesterday I made banana bread, and it did not turn out well. Like it just didn't solidify. It was mush. So I think I used the wrong setting because I used the cake setting on my Amazon bread maker, but it was good.
Technically, banana bread is a cake, though.
It's not bread,
right?
So.
It is. But I don't know what I did wrong that it didn't like harden.
Well,
you didn't play with it enough beforehand.
You did. There wasn't enough foreplay, Mike. Foreplay is important for banana bread.
So everyone can send me bread machine recipes. I will absolutely take those.
I am trying to figure out a cursed bread recipe.
Oh, hold on. We got to mirror your thing. Hold on. So defend the guard, bring our troops home.
Hell yeah.
Skipper, Slug, thank you. AVA, if you're still watching, thank you. Skipper, take us out of here.
All right, thank you, everyone. Make sure you subscribe to AVA's channel, Slug's channel, TC's Minnesota Black Robe Regiment. For those of you who have subscribed to Veteran Nation on Rumble, thank you so much. We're at 84 followers. The goal is to get up to 100. So if 16 of you can subscribe, or if you have 8 friends, 2 of you, and you get those 8 people, we'll get over that goal. And thank you to the people who are watching on there. I do appreciate it.
And Skipper is sending this over to the chickens afterwards.
Yes, you will be going straight to the Freedom Flock. And
let's go. We're gonna see some cocks.
No, you won't actually. But nice.
Oh, wrong bird.
Yeah, bunch of clucking hens. That's where we're sending you.
Excellent.
And check out if Slug later on. He's gonna teach me how to play Minecraft. So
I'm going to do it, Chad. I'm gonna turn him into a gamer.
We'll see. But thank you guys for all being here. And as usual, thank you for being worth serving.